What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another math video tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to evaluate mathematical expressions that have rational exponents. So we're going to be looking at two examples today, but before we jump right into it, I wanted to show you a formula that's going to come in very handy when you are evaluating these types of mathematical expressions. And the formula is, whenever you have a number that is to a power, right, as in m over n, you can rewrite that number as the nth root of that number to the power of m. And what I want you guys to recognize here is that these letters that form the formula or the rule, they're known values or placeholders. And so when we're using the formula, it's important for us to identify what those known values are going to be in relation to our problem or our expression. So for instance, I'm going to look at example number 1 and I'm going to use the formula. With respect to my formula, my a in this case is going to be 64. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle the number 64 just so that you guys can see that. My m is going to be 1 and my n is going to be represented by the number 6. Now, why did I do that? Well, because this way you can readily see that those are my known values. And so now that I know which values are part of my expression, I can then rewrite them as a radical using this formula presented. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my number using the formula. So using the formula, I know that if I wanted to write it as a radical, it's going to look something like this, right? And my a is going to go inside, my n is going to go inside of the root, and my m is going to be the outside power. So what I do, I just plug in whatever those values are. So we know that 64 is going to be inside the radical. It's going to be inside the radical, so that's going to be 64. We know that m, or n rather, is going to go inside of the root, so that's going to be 6. And then my m is going to go outside as the power. Okay, so now that I've rewritten my rational exponent expression as a radical, I can now evaluate this mathematical expression more easily because I can rewrite it again as, I can rewrite this as my 6th root of 2 to the 6th power. So all I did is I took the number 64 and I rewrote it as 2 to the 6th power, because I know that if I multiply 2 by itself 6 times, it's going to give me 64. And the reason that I did that is because now that I have my root and my inside power, because they're the same, my answer is just going to be the base, which is going to be 2. So I'm going to write my final answer, which is going to be 2 to the first power. And I know that anything to the first power is just itself. So if 2 to the first power, if I have 2 to the first power, then my answer is going to be just 2. Easy enough, hopefully. All right, so now let's look at another example here. So following that same pattern, right? Using the formula, I'm going to identify my a, which is going to be 8. I'm going to identify my m, which is going to be 1. And I'm going to identify my n, which is going to be 3. Okay, great. Now that I have my values, my known values, I can then use the formula to rewrite this expression that is written as as a rational exponent, I can write it as a radical. So I'm going to write the square, or I'm going to write the third root, because 3 is going to go inside of the root of 8. 8 is going to go inside, and then 1 is going to be my outside power. Okay, great. Now that I've gotten to this point, I need to figure out how I can rewrite what's inside of my radical so that the power that's inside matches the root. And I know that I can rewrite this as the third root of 2 to the third power, because I know that if I multiply 2 by itself 3 times, I'm going to get 8. So hopefully you guys are still with me. Now that my root and my inside power are the same, my answer is just going to be my base. Therefore, my answer is going to be 2 to the first power. And again, anything to the first power is itself. So 2 to the first power is going to be 2. So I hope that you found this video tutorial helpful. Stay tuned for more math tutorials, and good luck on your homework.